After we complete electrical and mechanical, now let's move to plumbing drawings. In this lesson, we're going to describe the organization and structures of the plumbing drawing. The major part of this lesson, we're going to interpret the plumbing symbols. In a small part of this lesson, we're going to interpret the fire protection symbols. And finally, we will explain the function of various plumbing and fire protection components shown in the blueprints. As we did previously, before you continue with the video, I would recommend you to pause and open the plumbing drawing. Try to look for the detail of those drawings and try to figure out how many type of drawing do we have over there, what are their names, which one you should read first, how to start reading for that. I want you to think a little bit before we continue with the video. The slide over here will categorize different type of drawing in the plumbing system and recommend the general step that we should take to read the plumbing drawings. Similar to electrical and mechanical drawing, the first step is to check the detail and schedule. The second step is to read of the plan drawing. In plumbing, generally we have two different type of plan. We have the waste and vent plan that show the size and the layout of all the waste and vent piping system. And then we have the water supply plan that show the size and also the layout, but for the freshwater piping system. Sometimes if the plan is too big, we need to have couple enlarged plan, which is a zooming of an area in the original plan. And then we have the plumbing riser, which show the 3D view for the piping system. Generally, the plumbing risers is a drawing that is not to scale, which means that when we do any cost estimation or takeoff, we cannot measure directly on the plumbing risers because it will result in inaccurate measurement. Finally, you can check for the spec for any information you cannot see in the drawing. Generally, a plumbing system will include two things, plumbing fixtures and plumbing pipings. Plumbing fixtures are the devices connected to the plumbing piping system that are used to provide the fresh water or drain out the wastewater. For example, we have the toilet and the urinal, the lavatory and the sink, water heater, water dispensers, for example, the electrical cooler, the faucets, the drain, and many other type of fixtures we're going to discuss in this lesson. And then for the piping, we have waste pipe, vent pipe, water supply pipe. For the water supply pipe, we have hot water supply and cold water supply. For the hot water supply, we have hot water supply and hot water return as well. We will discuss about the function of each of those pipes in the later part of this video. Do a little bit practice here. Let's take a look on the plumbing drawing and tell me how many toilets are there in the building and where are they. If we take a look on the drawing P201 with the domestic water plan, this is water supply plan. We can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Totally 8 toilets. Let's take a look on this question. What are types of the toilet used in the project and what are their required GPF for the toilets? What is the GPF? GPF stands for the gallon per flush. That is the amount of water being used for one flush of the toilet. If you take a look on the first plumbing drawing P001, you can see on the plumbing fixture schedule over here, we have the information about the toilet And if you pay attention on the column remark, you can see the remark for the toilet is 1, 2, 3. And if you check for the remark number 3, you can see that the toilet over here using 1.6 gallon per flush. If we check for the type of the toilet, we can see that one is American Standard Madeira. And if I look it up online, I can see additional information about the toilet over here. For example, the list price of this one is $180. The type of this toilet is the floor mount toilet. For the toilet and urinal, we use GPF, which stands for gallon per flush, to measure the amount of water being used. For the shower head and the water faucet, we use GPM, which stands for gallon per minute, to measure the amount of water being used for those water fixtures. Before 1980, most of the toilets in the US use a lot of water. Generally, for each flush, we use around 5 to 7 gallons of water. From 1980 to 1990, we reduced to 3.5 gallons per flush. However, we still use a lot of water. And then for the 1992, we have the Energy Policy Act, which require all of the toilets in the US to use the maximum 1.6 gallon per flush. For now and the future, most of the toilets in the US will try to achieve 1.28 gallon per flush or even less to achieve the goal of water efficiency for the future construction. Let's take a look on this question. What is this? What is FD? If you check the drawing P001 and you look for the plumbing fixture schedule, you can see that FD stands for a floor drain. Looking at the drawing, let's see how many water heaters are used in the building, what are their model and their capacity. If you take a look on the same drawing P001 and you check the water heater schedule, you can see that we have only one water heater. The manufacturers of that is Lukemvar, and model is XCT30-119 with the capacity is 120 gallon. And if you check on the manufacturer's website, you can see this is how the water heater look like. The cost of the water heater at the time I'm checking for the price is around $11,400. Now let's take a look on this question. What is this? What is XB1 stand for? If you take a look on the drawing P001 and you check for the plumbing fixture schedule, you can see that XB1 is the hose bib. We have two hose bib, and this one is hose bib number 1. A hose bib is a water faucet that sits on the side of your home or the building that allow you to run the water from inside of your house to the outside. The hose bib number 1 is an anti-siphon one, which have the backflow prevention function that will keep your irrigation water from going back into your building and contaminate the drinking water. Let's take a look on this question. Looking at the drawing, how many hose bib model B24 recess anti-siphon in the building, and what is the total material cost for them given the web price below. As we discussed previously, that one is actually the XB1 we just completed. Let's take a look on the drawing P201. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have totally 9 hose bib number 1. And from that, we can let 9 multiply by $761.80. We're gonna have $6,856.2. Let's take a look on this question. What are these? What does FCO mean? If you check the first drawing P001, you can see that FCO is a typical water clean out, and F stands for floor, so this one is the clean out but on the floor. What is the water clean out? The water clean out generally is a quick and easy access that allow the plumber to clear any clog or any obstruction, or just inspect the pipe without doing any damage to the pipe. Let's take a look on this question. What is this? If you take a look on the drawing P001, you can see that this one is a ball valve. There are many different type of valve, but generally we have three most common type of valve. The first one is the ball valve. Ball valve is one of the most common type of valve. The major advantages of this one is providing a quick way to shut up the water. And then we have the gate valve. This is how the gate valve look like. As you can see, this one require less space compared to the ball valve, so it's very good for the tight space. And then we have the glove valve. This is how the glove valve look like. The glove valve is very good for the system that require high pressures and used for the application where the tight seal is required, especially for the hazardous material. Let's take a look on this question. If you check the plumbing fixture schedule on the drawing P001, you're gonna see that the water hammer arrestor are required for the ice maker box and the washing machine box. Why do we need to have that type of equipment, and what are the function of that equipment? Generally, a water hammer arrestor is a type of equipment you're gonna see many places in your house. For example, the washing machine or below your sink, you're gonna see an equipment like this. The main function of that is to absorb the shock when the water flowing in the pipe system. When we close the valve, then we create the shock, and the shock over here, over time, it will damage the piping system. So the water hammer arrestor will help absorb all of those shock and providing the protection for the plumbing system. Let's take a look on this question. What is this? Well, if you check my reading note, you're gonna see that one is called the P-trap. A P-trap will always contain some water over here, and the purpose of the water is to trap the noxious sewage gas going back into the house. Let's take a break here, and I'll see you in the next video.